Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to Power 4.0 setter training. My name is Dana LeBlanc. I've been with Power for about 4 years, and I'm a closer with Power. And today we're going to take a few moments just to go over how to schedule appointments. So if you're on the call today, or if you're watching this training in the future, this is going to really dig into how to find a quality lead and then how to schedule a quality appointment. Okay. So again, quality appointments equals success. I always say quality in, quality out. If you have a quality appointment that you put in the system, it's easier for the closer to work that appointment and close it, and so you both get a contract on that customer. Just as a heads up and reminder, Power is in about 25, 26 states right now. We just launched New Hampshire, Vermont, and I forget the other state right offhand. But you're not limited to just California. If you want to schedule leads or set leads or sell solar in other states, Power is doing amazing things in the other areas, apart from California. They've done all the heavy lifting, and it's a great opportunity for you to expand your footprint. Some of these states do require a sales license in that state. If you want to find out more about a particular state, you can go to our market spotlight in our knowledge base in power.com, and it will give you a complete rundown and overview of whatever that state is. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and dig into Power 4.0. As you know, the old way of, or the old business model that Power did was a tiered system, tier one, two, and three. Based on your experience, you could enter in as a tier three seller. However, if you didn't have experience, you entered in as a tier one. You had to sell a number of deals through a mentor to gain experience. And then you could move to tier two. Tier two, you had to close a certain amount of deals on your own. And once you accomplished that, then you could go to tier three. And tier three was able to mentor other sellers on the platform. You could always build a team didn't matter which tier you were. You could always build a team and have revenue share from those teammates. Now, the new business model that Power has moved to is we've done away with the tiered system and we've gone to a setter closer business model. We're going to talk about that more in just a moment. Power is recognizing our setters as being a very important role in the sales process. Again, I just said it a couple moments ago. Quality appointments equal success. And so we're placing a lot of high value on our setters to help close business on the Power platform. Okay. So again, the new vocabulary is we've moved away from the tier one, two, and three. And Power 4.0 new business model is a setter or a closer. Now, there's actually three positions that we can talk about those in just a moment. But a setter, let me just clarify, a setter is just that. It's a person who sets appointments. Okay, you will tag a closer to sell those jobs. You will schedule appointments for those closers, and you and the closer will work in tandem to gain signatures on a contract. A closer's responsibility is to get the signature, but again, a quality appointment by the setter it's what's going to help the closer close the contract. So again, the first level is a setter. You can choose a closer anywhere on the Power platform or any of the areas that we sell Power in. If you want to come to the platform and say, hey, I don't want to, or I prefer not to receive appointments from other setters. I just want to close my own deals. We have removed the entry barrier of cost for setters and for closers. So it costs nothing to set appointments and be compensated on the Power platform. And it also costs you nothing to sell your own deals on the Power platform. We do still have the subscription-based fee for all of our closers. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. Okay. Awesome. So let's talk about the process of entering a lead, or let's talk about the differences in the setter and closer responsibilities. Okay. So as a setter, your responsibility is to enter the lead into Powur.com. To qualify the lead, we're going to talk about what that looks like in just a moment. It's your responsibility to tag a qualified closer, myself, preferably, or Bo, or Terry, or whoever else are closers on our team, and then schedule the appointment. Set that appointment on the closer's calendar, and then the closer picks it up from there. So as a setter, that's your only responsibility, is entering the lead, qualifying the lead, tagging the closer, and setting the appointment. On the closer side, the closer picks that up, they generate the proposal, they present the proposal, and they close the deal. Very clearly identified roles here with our setters and our closers. Okay. So again, this is a win-win scenario. We see the setters and the closers as having as much importance as the other. As a setter, what are you focusing on? You're focusing on your networking. If it's through BNI, if it's through other networking events, if you're a lead generator, or if you are a campaign, you run campaigns on Facebook. However you generate those leads through your network, that is going to be great. Okay. You're also focusing on high volume commissions because you're making money, or you're being compensated for your efforts by scheduling quality appointments for closers. And then you're specializing in lead generation. Okay. And again, you really want to work closely with your closer so that you all can have the same talk track. Again, we're not seeing any difference in the setter and the closer. What is the closer focusing on? The closer is focusing on designing the system. We're experts when it comes to the product and the financing options. We're maximizing the customer experience. And again, we're experts in the conversation. But again, the close really does begin with the setter. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Bo, if you want to facilitate that for me, then we can do that. So here we are with Powur 4.0. We say welcome to the era of freemium. Again, we remove the barriers of entry of cost for our setters and for our solar pros. Okay. So when you look at, again, the roles that Powur has now developed, is the first is our setter, okay, which is a free of charge. The second in the middle, where you see that dollar sign, would be a solar pro. Again, the solar pro is saying, hey, I'm good. I run my own leads. I want to close my own business. That's a solar pro. It costs you nothing to use the Powur platform. Our third role is our closer. We still have the $85 subscription-based fee for our closers. Our closers are opened to receive appointments from our setters, and you can also help solar pros close their deals. Okay, so all the benefits of a closer on the Powur platform are closing deals, receiving appointments from setters. Let me kind of backtrack here just a little bit. As a solar pro, which is that middle role, which you don't see here, they are not able to receive appointments from setters. Okay. Go back, digress even more. It's been confusion with people understanding the setter role. These are not leads that are coming from Powur. As a setter, you're finding that opportunity on your own, be it however you do that, through ad campaigns, through Google ads, through social media, through BNI groups, however you find that opportunity. Okay. So again, we have a setter free of charge, Solar Pro free of charge, and we have a closer role, which is $85 per month. Okay. Okay. So again, I just said this a couple moments ago. It's a win-win scenario for everybody. Closers or setters, should I say. They have the fast pay option, which I'll talk about that here in just a moment. More frequent pay. You're able to be paid out every single Friday for any quality appointments that you schedule during the week. It's more predictable and it's consistent across all markets for all users. Again, you can schedule appointments from California in Florida and vice versa. As a closer, you're focusing on zero costs and no compromise in your pay. So, in other words, you're receiving these appointments from setters. It doesn't cost you anything, and you're compensated if that contract closes. There's more leads, there's more qualified leads, and there's preset appointments for our closers as well. Okay. Okay, so how do setters get paid under the new Powur 4.0 business model? The first is payments for appointments that have been completed. We're going to talk about this here in just a moment. As a setter, in order for you to be paid on that appointment, it has to be scheduled in Powur.com. It has to be confirmed on the closer's calendar. The closer has to meet with that potential client and present a proposal to them. And then the closer identifies it or marks it as complete on the back end in the system. Okay. All righty. How else are you getting paid? You're getting paid by payments when the appointments that you set become a completed solar installation. Again, our setters, not only are you making income from the appointments that you set, and again, we'll talk about this here in just a moment, but you're also receiving 20 to 27% of the contract margin value once the system closes and installs. Okay. There's still revenue team share bonuses in place. If you want to build a team as a setter, you can build a team six deep. As a closer, you can also build a team six deep, and you're paid or you're compensated, should I say, on all of the efforts that your team does, all of their performance. There's still performance bonuses for selling higher volume or scheduling higher volumes through a setter. You can still be paid that way. And there's also periodic contests and spiffs as well that the company also always has. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the appointment time. You want to establish your customer schedule um, to verify the best time for them to meet with the closer. Okay. So you want to look at preferred appointment date and time. You want to make sure as a setter that all the decision makers are going to be present. Again, quality in, quality out. As a setter, you want to be setting the tone for the consultation for the closer. Okay. And so you're doing things like, you are coordinating that appointment date and time. You're also making sure that both husband and wife or both decision makers in the home are going to be present there at the time of the presentation. Okay. You're also coming up with different options to ensure the flexibility of both the homeowner and the closer. And so what I would do, and we're going to look at this again here, and I know I'm kind of talking forward here quite a bit, but it's because we're going to show you in real time how some of this stuff works. But you want to make sure that you're offering your client or your customer some flexibility with dates and times. Okay, if they're not able to meet on Monday, maybe they can meet on Wednesday. Okay, and then you're going to also figure out the best time of day for the homeowner. Okay. All right. Let's talk about some appointment details. It's a great idea as a setter that you prepare a checklist of the information that you're going to need in order to have a successful appointment. Okay. The first thing is that you want to obtain the homeowner's utility bill or their historical usage. Now, as a setter, even as a closer, sometimes this can be like pulling teeth to get this information. If you're not able to get the utility bill or get their historical usage, it's okay. You can still enter the lead and still schedule the appointment, but you want to communicate with your closer, hey, I was not able to get the utility bill. I don't know what their historical usage is. And that closer, like myself, I'm going to be calling probably the day of that appointment is scheduled, even if it's for the next day. I'm going to call today to introduce myself, get some preliminary information from the client, get a copy of their utility bill and their historical usage, okay? But as a setter, the first thing that you want to try and do is have the utility bill. Again, you want to have a preferred appointment date and time. You want the contact information, which includes the phone number and the email. And then you also want the address and any property details that you may have, condition of the roof, if there's any shading issues with trees, things of that nature. Okay. All right. So, what qualifies a sit as a sit? As a setter, when you want to be compensated for the appointments that you schedule, what qualifies that? First, does the home qualify? Okay, meaning that is it an actual resident? Is it uh, does a family live there? It's not an apartment building. You want to make sure that the home itself qualifies, that it's not a shake roof. Those kinds of things really matter when you're wanting to ensure that you have a quality appointment. Number two is, was an appointment set by a setter? Okay. Was an appointment held by a closer with the decision makers? And then was a proposal presented? That's what we qualify as being a sit or an appointment. Okay. Again, if you have questions, feel free to go ahead and put them in the chat, and we will come back and circle back with those questions. Okay. As a setter, there's a couple ways for you to be compensated. You're probably, you're hearing this term fast pay. Okay. Fast pay rewards early activity, and it also encourages focus on setting appointments, quality appointments, and higher volume. Okay. So let's take a look at the compensation, and we're going to break this down here where it's easy to understand. As you can see here, our setter titles are based on volume. We have a bronze, silver, gold, and platinum setter. Okay. The volume is based again on 1 to 5 as a bronze, 6 to 9, 10 to 19, or 20 plus appointments per month. If you opt into fast pay, in fact, let me just qualify that statement. Everyone that signs up as a setter on the Powur platform is automatically opted into fast pay. If you prefer not to be on fast pay, you will need to opt out of fast pay. I can show you how to do that here in just a moment. Okay. But let's just take our bronze setter, for example. If you schedule, let's just say you schedule 2 appointments that week and you have fast pay on that Friday, if the closer has met with those families and they have positioned the the appointment as presented in the system, you'll be paid $100 that Friday. Okay, for 2 appointments. If the volume is higher, you're paid based on the volume. Okay, Powur is floating that money up front for you as a setter, whether the deal closes or not. So that's great about fast pay. It doesn't matter if the contract closes. Powur's going to float the money for you as a setter for your efforts. That's what fast pay is. However, if you look at the compensation on the back end of that, that's again using that bronze setter business model, you're paid 20% of the margin on that contract. Okay. Without fast pay, you're receiving 35%. Again, I'm going to show you here in just a moment what that looks like so you can have a visual. Okay. So the average commission on a 10 kilowatt system priced at $1 per watt on our bronze level is around $2,000. Let me recap that for you. As a bronze setter, if you schedule 2 appointments with fast pay, that's $100 on that Friday. If the deal closes, let's say one of those deals close, you receive 20% on the back end of the margin, and that's around $2,000 based on the system size. So of course there's a variance there, and so that works the same way with our platinum. If you're scheduling a lot of appointments, you have a lot of volume, 20 plus appointments in a month, you're paid $100 per appointment 27.5% of the margin of the contract up to $2,700 on a deal. Okay, awesome. Okay, I won't spend too much here. There is some fast pay eligibility that you need to pay attention to if you want to remain or continue on fast pay. There is no eligibility requirements for your first 10 sits. However, once you get to your 11th sit within the month, you have to maintain a 10% close rate, and that's really up to your closer. Okay. So again, quality in, quality out. It's easier to close a deal if it's a quality appointment set by the setter. Okay. The lead must be qualified and appointments must be held. Okay. And you must communicate effectively with your closer. On the closer side, we must maintain a 10% close rate of those confirmed sit appointments. Okay. We must maintain a 60% non-cancel rate or higher on the Power platform. And we must also confirm when an appointment is held. Okay. And then again, we're also communicating effectively with the setter. Okay. I'm going to opt out of that. Okay, let's talk about what a quality lead looks like, a qualified lead for all you setters out there. Again, do they own the home? We want to make sure that they're not renters. Do they have adequate roof space for solar? Okay. Are the decision makers willing to have an appointment with the closer? Do they have a utility bill? That's important. We say about $50 a month or more, but are you able to gather that information? And did you fill out any quality notes or any notes for the closer? That is a qualified lead. Okay. And are there any questions, Bo, so far in the chat?
No, you're good so far.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to skip here a little bit, and we're going to talk about the compensation on these deals. Okay. Under the old business model that Power had, where we had a tiered system, tier one, two, and three, again, we're taking a 10 kilowatt system. If you're new to solar, you may not be familiar with that term. A 10 kilowatt system is, I don't know, I think it's about 28 panels. I didn't do the math on that. But if we price that out at $1 per watt, there's 10,000 watts in a kilowatt. That's a $10,000 commission that will be paid on that job. Okay. Under the normal split, you guys can see my mouse rolling here. The seller would take 70% of that $10,000. It's a $7,000 commission for the closer. Power takes 15% for team bonuses. If you have any, if you've built a team and those team members are active in selling deals on the Power platform, Power would take 15% and give it back to team or team bonuses on the Power platform, and then Power would take 15% themselves. Okay, under the new business model, without fast pay on. Okay, so as a setter, if you say, I don't want fast pay, as you can see here, as a setter on that same $10,000 commission, you're receiving 35% of the commission, which is $3,500. That's a great, great income right there for just scheduling a quality appointment. Okay, the closer also receives 35%, $3,500. Team bonus to Power still is at $1,500, 15%. And then again, Power takes 15% for utilizing the Power platform. Okay. If you say, hey, I do want fast pay on, I want to be compensated every Friday for every appointment that I schedule. I apologize for the confusion here. This says 25%. It should say 20%. With fast pay on, your commission split goes from 35 to 20% based on the volume, okay, which is around $2,000. The closer still receives 35%. 10% of that goes back into profit margin for Power, 15% to team bonuses, and 15% to Power. Okay. The reason why the commission structure diminishes a little bit here is because Power is floating all of the money on fast pay. Remember, you're paid on those appointments. It doesn't matter if the contract closes or not. Okay. If that's not clear, please let me know in the chat and we can go over that more in depth. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna kind of skip through some of this stuff. If you're new to the platform as a setter, there is a 15 to 30 minute certification that you will need to complete. Okay. Once you log into your Power platform, Bo and I are going to show you what this looks like here in just a moment. Once you log into Powur.com, you would go to Power University. You would type in setter certification. It takes about 15 to 30 minutes to complete it. And what it's doing is it's giving you a lesson on why Powur. It's going to show you what the setter role, and it's going to also give you access to the training. Okay. It's going to show you how to submit leads. And then it's going to also show you the value proposition of solar. And then the fourth lesson is payment compliance and getting started. Okay. It's super easy. I've taken it myself. Very, very easy. Okay. As a solar pro, if you want to just say, hey, I don't want to receive appointments from setters, I want to sell my own deals, you do need some experience. I believe it's 2 years of experience that Powur is looking for if you want to be a solar pro on the platform. It takes about a 2 hour certification. It's talking about our COGS plus, which is a cost of goods and services, plus any adders that are associated with that job. There's solar cells mastery. There's core principles, design and details, closing the cell, how to close the cell, and then post sales mastery. So it's a lot of great information. If you are a closer on the Power platform, you can attest to the power of Powur.com. There's a lot of very useful information there on the website. Okay. And then again, Powur is always having some sort of contest. Right now, we have our Vanguard contest that's taking place until the end of this month. I won't go into that because we're here to talk more about appointment setting. Okay. I'm going to unshare my screen. Is there any questions so far about anything that we talked about? Yes, sir. Mr. Bobby.
Yes, I asked the question, do you have to have 2 years experience to be a salesperson?
So if you want to be a solar pro on the Power platform, yes, Powur is looking for previous experience. Okay. Now, a great way to do this, is that a puppy on your shoulder, brother? Oh, oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
puppy. It's a puppy. It is.
Okay. I thought it was sitting on your shoulder. If you want to be a setter on the Power platform, there is no experience required for that. We're hoping that you're working with some quality closers to help you come up to speed that can also help you close your own deals. But if you want to be a solar pro on the Power platform, it does require
1 year.
some experience. Is it 1 year? Okay,
Yeah.
1 year experience.
Oh, I have to wait a whole year before I become a seller.
Yes,
That's
sir.
rough.
It is. I mean, if you have some relatable experience with solar, Powur is willing to make some exceptions. However, they're typically looking for experience if you want to sell solar. Okay.
I have another question. I just started. I haven't even started yet. I finished my certification, so I'm done with that.
Okay.
But don't do. I thought I heard that you guys had some type of daily training or mastermind for setters as
Absolutely,
well.
we do. And like I just said, Powur.com has it's loaded with training and certifications on modules, on battery technology. There's roofing certifications. There's just tons of information. Bo and I are going to go ahead and let's log in, Bo, to Powur.com if you don't mind. And I think I
Okay.
gave you the opportunity to share your screen.
Pulling it up right now.
Okay.
Do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, please. And Bobby, hopefully this is going to answer your question, my friend. Okay. So this is Powur.com. Everyone has the same access to the Power platform as everyone else. It doesn't matter if you're a setter or a closer. We all have the same access. Okay. So as you can see here, Bo is logged into Powur.com. To the left there, Bo, if you will hover over the blue bar for me on the far left, that blue bar expands. Okay. Can you enlarge your screen a little bit, Bo?
Enlarge.
Yeah. Um, I don't think
Better.
it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. Okay. So if you're able to see this, the blue bar on the far left expands out. Bo, go ahead and scroll down to Powur University.
Okay.
Okay. Powur University is where you're going to do all your certifications, Bobby. Go ahead and select Powur University for me, Bo. Okay. And that's taking a moment to load. Okay. So if you want to just close out of that little X out of there, where it says Search Powur University, as you can see here, there are tons of certifications that you have access to. As a setter, go ahead and type in setter certification.
Should be right at the top.
Well, I got that
Yep.
already.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, so if you know, whatever you want to find in terms of certifications can be found in Powur University. Type in battery certificate or roofing certification, one of the two. There's roofing certification. The system is going to tell you what certifications that you need to have completed. Okay. All that information is going to be right there. As you can see here, there's Aurora, which is a proposal tool that Powur just launched. That certification is available. There's energy storage certifications. There's seller integrity certifications. There's solar right certifications, Power 101, or excuse me, Solar 101. This will be a great one for you, Bobby, Solar 101. It's the basics of solar and how to sell solar. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our to the Powur.com. You can exit out of there. Okay. We're gonna actually enter in a lead so you can see how to enter a lead. So as you can see here, Bo is hovering over where it says add lead. Okay. This is where you're gonna add lead. Go ahead and type in or select add lead. Let's just do test. So you need the first and last name. You need an actual email address. Okay. You need a phone number. Okay. And then you also need the physical address. Now, please keep in mind, setters, that all of this information is super important because contracts are generated based on the information that you select, as well as proposals are generated based on the information that you enter. Okay.
Dana, give me an address in California.
Sure. Let's do 3629 Dutch Hollow, DUTCH. There we go. Modesto. You want to make sure the zip code is correct. Go ahead and scroll down. Okay, right here
Okay.
where it says homeowner notes, guys, you want to put as much information in the system for the closer as possible. Hey, this guy has two children and he also drives an EV. He works days or he works evenings. He's home during the day. It just any information that you think is going to be helpful for the closer, you want to put that information in here. Okay. Okay. Trees need trimmed. Awesome. Okay. And then where it says lead source, you have some drop downs. I always put word of mouth. You can put door knocking, however you want to, whatever you want to use for the disposition, go ahead and use that. So word of mouth. Okay. The button that says create lead. Go ahead and hit that, Bo. Okay. So we've created the lead. Now we have to qualify the lead. Okay. Go ahead and where it says mounting preferences, you may be dealing with a customer who wants roof solar, maybe they want ground mount solar. You can choose whichever one they want. Let's go ahead and do roof mount for this customer. Okay. Now, as you can see here, the map pulls up the property. Go ahead and hit the plus sign for me. Okay, great. The orange bubble in the middle is it's showing orange right now. You can move that around. You want to make sure that it's on the correct address, and you also want to confirm. So he'll go ahead and hit confirm, and you can see the orange turns to a blue bubble. Okay, the address is now confirmed. Okay, go ahead and scroll down for me.
Want to address this just real quick, just while we're right here?
Okay. Sure.
It's new build.
Um, yeah. So let's just say you're dealing with a new home build. You know, when you go to Google Maps, there's no property there. You can't see a home there. If you have a copy of the site plans, you can upload the site plans right here where it says new build or map imagery missing. Okay. You can upload the file right there. Again, I'm going to show you how to enter notes for the designer so that they can be aware that, hey, this is a real address, but there's no home on the property, but site plans have been uploaded. Okay. All right. Okay. You also want to make sure that you have the utility company. The utility company in this area is Modesto Irrigation. So go ahead and do MID or Modesto Irrigation. You want to go scroll back up right above
Oh, there it is.
Pacific Gas and Electric. Okay. And let's just go ahead and do 10,000 kilowatt hours for the intents of this purpose or the intents of this example. Okay. If you have a copy of the utility bill, you can upload that right here. Okay. Again, it's great if you can get that. If you don't have that, it's okay. The closer is going to get that. Okay. Then there's a question here that says, is this an existing system? Typically, it's going to be no. Okay. You select no, and now qualify can be selected. Okay. So now we've created the lead and we've qualified the lead, and now we're going to pair our lead with a closer. Okay. So at the bottom where it says, and we're going to only focus on this one tab, where it says show me all available closers at the bottom. So, okay, let me just go ahead and hit that for me, Bo.
I want to
Okay.
ask you a quick question while we're
Sure,
at that previous one. So the very top one says closing my own deal.
sure.
So if it's a setter account, will that still be available there for them just to be able to close their own since they're not a Solar
Um,
Pro?
it will not. I mean, it's not gonna be there. Okay, so you have access to that because you are you're a solar pro. Okay, if they're not a pro, then they won't see that.
Okay.
You'll see close my own deals or have Power pair you with a closer. You always want to select show me all closers. Okay. All right. So then there's some search fields that you can do here. Go ahead and type in search for by name and type in Dana LeBlanc. Now, whoever your closer is, that's the name that you're going to search for. Okay. As you can see here, there's my name. Okay. Go ahead and assign the deal to me or the project to me. Hit
Sign,
select
then hit confirm.
and then hit confirm the assignment. Okay. So the lead has been entered. The lead has been qualified. You've selected a closer. Any questions so far from anyone? Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is there is a two-step process to schedule the appointment on the closer's calendar. The first step is schedule on the closer's calendar. Go ahead and select schedule appointment. Okay. And let's just select Saturday the 19th. And again, you're going to see my calendar is going to come up with all of my available times. If I'm available on those times, it will show in blue. So let's just go ahead and do that. Put in the customer's name. Test, test. The email address. Okay. You can add a guest if you want to send a reminder to the client. You can add them as well. Okay. And then you're going to share anything that may be helpful for me to prepare for the meeting. Okay. Okay. And then phone number,
Clarify this number is the homeowner's phone
the
number.
homeowner's phone number. That is correct. Okay. And then going solar immediately, you want to maybe ask that question. Are they looking to go solar now? Are they wanting to go solar in a month? I would just say, let's just say yes for now. Okay. And then go ahead and schedule the event.
Oh, it's got to be a real number. I mean, so I can let you do a fake one.
Yeah. Oh, it's the format. Okay. Try it now. Okay, perfect. So the appointment has been scheduled on my calendar. Okay. If you want to open the invitation, you can do that. Bo just hovered over that. It shows you the scheduled date, time with my name and the meeting time. Okay. If you want to schedule your own meeting or put it on your own calendar as a reminder, as a setter, you can do that with either one of those there. Okay. All right. So go ahead and close out of that for me, Bo.
Okay.
Close out of that tab. Okay. All right. Now, there is a second step to this. Okay. You have to record the appointment in Powur.com. So go ahead and put the title. We can just say the customer's name. Okay. And then the appointment type. As you can see here, the drop down is going to give you several options. It's going to give you in person, phone call, virtual, or other. Let's just do virtual. If it's in person, it will be in person. Location, I would just put customer's address or customer's home. You don't necessarily have to put the address there. Okay. So now we're gonna select the calendar date. So where it says today, I would typically go to the calendar that's to the left of where it says today. Yep, right there. The calendar will come up. He's going to select the 19th. Hit save. Then over here, he's going to put 9 a.m. Okay. Do 099.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. And then that's an AM. Again, any notes that may be, important for me to have, and then create appointment. I'm already receiving notifications on my calendar that it's been created. Okay. Now, as far as requesting the proposal, I would prefer that my setters not request the proposal because there's just some information that I want to get from the homeowner before I do so. If a proposal is requested and that does not close, it's going to go against the closer's close rate. Okay, so let's not request for a proposal right now, but just communicate with your closer that hey, it's been entered. You can now request a proposal on your end. Okay, so go ahead and close out of that portion for me, Bo. Okay, it's going to take us back to Powur.com. And as you can see here, the very first line or the first customer, the appointment has been scheduled. Okay, if you click on that, it's going to show you, and when it says project, it's going to say the setter is Bo, the closer is myself, and then there's a project ID associated with that. Okay, any questions? Yes, Bobby.
I have a question now about this, but maybe later on you can show us, especially me, how do you prospect? Because I'm in Michigan. Now, let's have one in California. I imagine I have to use Google Maps and a map or whatever. So what steps do I take to be successful in prospecting and finding people to talk to? You
Sure,
can
that's
answer that
that's
later on if it's not applicable now.
okay. Okay. Before I answer that question for you, is there any other questions from anyone on how to enter a lead, qualify a lead, and schedule an appointment with the closer? Okay. All right. So go back to your blue bar over here and hover over the blue bar and go down to knowledge base. So Bobby just asked a question about how do I, be successful? Where can I look for leads? Knowledge base is like a library. Okay. You can come in here and it's like Powur's personal Google. You can find all kinds of information here in knowledge base in Powur. There's things on the sales process, there's proposal tools, there's sales presentation information, there's contract information, post-sale process information. There's just a ton of information here. As a setter, there's the setter role resource page. As you can see here, you can select any of that stuff. There's door-to-door training. There's just lots of training. Okay. What I want you to do, Bo, is go scroll back up for us. Okay. As you can see,
Wow.
when he first signs in, keep going. And when he first signs in, there is in the middle tab right there where it says coverage map. Go ahead and select that for me. This shows you all of the areas that Powur is located in, everywhere that we're doing installations. Okay. And you said you're in Michigan, Bobby?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't believe that we are currently in Michigan. Okay.
You're not.
But that's okay. That's okay. I would focus my efforts in other areas. Florida is a great area. California is a great area. Nevada is a great area. Wherever you think that you will be successful. Texas is another great area. And then there's also states around you that are they're going to be available to you. Okay. So
How
again,
about
how
Illinois?
Illinois? We are actually in Illinois. Yes, sir. Yep. So if you have friends or family in that area, I would begin with them. Okay. And when you get one client, it's easy to get another because there's always referrals, right? So if you're able to with a closer close a deal in Illinois, hey, make sure that you ask that client, do you have three names for me that I could possibly contact that may be interested in solar? If you want to sign them up on our ambassador referral program, you can do that. So those referrals are paid out $1,000 for every referral that closes. Or if you want to sign them up as a setter under yourself, Bobby, you can do that. And if they close a deal, you receive 6% of the contract margin. Okay, awesome. Let's see here. That's very good right there. So as you can see here, can you scroll back up to what you typed in for that? So prospecting handbook. This will be another great thing for you to search out on Powur or on knowledge base. Prospecting handbook.
You can get a downloadable version here. So there's
Yep.
lots of good resources on it.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's see here. Go back to the main page on knowledge base. Okay. You were asking earlier, Bobby, about events and trainings, live trainings that are happening. As you can see, the first tab here, it says calendar and events.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead and select that, Bo. Okay. As you can see here, we have again tons of live trainings that are happening just about every day. You can choose one that best fits with your schedule. We have a setter surge, which will be great for you, Bobby. There's strategies on how to prospect, on how to get quality leads. There is market spotlights on certain states. As you can see here, this is one for Illinois that you were talking about. A one that I would really attend is the setter surge. Okay. And let's see here, what else? Maybe the mastermind would be another good one.
Mhm.
Okay. So go ahead into the top and type in mastermind.
Let me define mastermind.
Yeah. It might be one word. There we go. Okay. Breakthrough masterminds. As you can see here, we have Building with Bobby that happens, I think it's on Mondays. What date is the 25th? That's actually a Friday.
Friday, yeah.
So here. Yep.
Okay. So you can choose any of these. So do you remember how to get there from Knowledge Base?
I can find a way, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Powur.com, Bo, and we're going to show them one more time. Okay. So you're in Powur.com. You hover over the blue bar. You select Knowledge Base.
No space, yep.
Okay. And or you can select scroll down to Power Calendar, or you can get it there through Knowledge
There's
Base
no
or
simple.
Power Calendar.
Got it.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
Cool.
Anyone else? Okay. I want to thank you all for joining the training today. I hope this was very helpful for everyone that was, took the time to be on the call. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here, and we can follow up with questions here in just a moment. Okay. Thank you all.